Once upon a time, I'd like to tell a story about how these days we take telephones for granted. So, my story goes as follows. In 1996, I was doing my grade 12 at Pasam National High School. I started in 1995 doing grade 11, and in 1996, I finished grade 12. So during 1996, I already knew, having corresponded with OSAID and having applied for an OSAID scholarship, I knew that I got a scholarship to go and study in Australia, specifically to do a degree in aeronautical engineering. Um, However, when I arrived at the university that I went to do my degree, that was the University of Canberra, after 6 months, sorry, I couldn't do my degree, in fact. So I had to settle for computer engineering and software engineering. So I did that. I was very disappointed. I couldn't do aeronautical engineering. After 6 months, after the first semester, I found out that aeronautical engineering was offered at a military college in Melbourne. So after which I inquired with OSAID, and they said, no, the first semester has passed. So unfortunately, you can't switch your choices. So I settled for software engineering instead. So that was in 1998 when I went to Australia. But how the story unfolded before I went to Australia, and trying to highlight the importance of how these days we take telephones for granted, mobile phones for that matter. Back in those days, you have the telephones, those who are lucky will have telephones installed in their homes. These are landline phones. And for those that are not so lucky, you have the public pay phones where you have to have so many 20 toyas, 10 toyas, 50 toyas, 1 kina, and you have to go and start dropping it into the phone to make a call. Uh, Within PNG, it was okay, probably relatively affordable. But in terms of trying to call overseas, it was very, very expensive. So, knowing that I had a scholarship, I was waiting in the village. I put my Catholic Mission Station address. I come from the border of Maprik and Yangoru, so I put a Catholic Mission Station address where any mails from Australian High Commission or the OSAID people will come to the Catholic Mission Station, and then I'll pick up my messages from there. And that's how we depended on communication in those days, by letters. And this was back in 1996. So on a Sunday, I got a big mail from the church after going to church, and I was informed in the correspondence from the Australian High Commission that my ticket was ready, but I didn't know where to go and pick up my ticket. I was still confused. They said that my ticket was ready, and I was now going to come to Port Moresby and to transit to Australia and then on to University of Canberra. So that was on a Sunday, and then on a Monday I went to Maprik again on those kind of telephones where you have to put in coins. I spent so much. I come from a very less than average family. We struggled. So I had, I think, probably about maybe 200 kina at the time. So went to Maprik, spent everything, finished, went to WeWork, all up. So by then, I already spent 200 kina. And that was a Wednesday. And then I still couldn't get through, reach the Australian High Commission in Port Moresby, but I spent so much money already. So that was a Wednesday, and I was informed by the Australian High Commission that I should be flying out of Port Moresby on a Sunday. So at the time, there was about a village that was 3 villages away from my village that had a satellite phone. So early Wednesday morning, about I think 2 a.m., me and my uncle started walking. We knew it was raining and it was quite fast, so we thought that we should start walking very early in the morning. So we walked from my mother's village, that's where I reside, and today I still reside there, over to my father's village. Then we had to walk down a big range, and then you cross a river, and then you walk up to another village. Then there was a shortcut where we had to use that village to go down a very steep hill, or you can say cliff, and it was a gorge. So if you happen to be climbing down, and if you slip, I think you are going to fall for about 200 to 300 meters, and it was not a very pleasant place to be walking. So we thought to take the longer route, which was going to take us 4 hours. We said, that's fine, we take this long route. We walked until we got to that village. I think by the time we got there, so we left at 2 a.m. By the time we got there, it was about 6:30. So people already awake and doing some community service work around the village. We asked them at the first hamlet. They said it's further down that way, and then we kept on going. So the village overlooks the Sepik Highway. So we kept on walking until we got to the location, and then I went. We found a person who was responsible for that little setup. Came back. I gave him 50 kina, and I started making calls, trying to reach the Australian High Commission. I think we waited for a while until 9 o'clock, and I started making those calls, knowing the office would be open probably 8 o'clock. So by 9 o'clock, it would be already open. So I made the calls, 50 kina, like that was down to my last 50 kina. And then happened to reach the Australian High Commission. But while talking, my 50 kina ran out. They charge you by minute. You give them 50 kina, and they say 1 minute, like what, 5 kina, something like that. So my money ran out, and it cut off. But the village was related. We all speak the same language, so they were kind enough. We were related to them in a way as well. And then this guy said, "Look, really feel for you guys having work from 2 a.m. in the morning. It's and then you have to arrive here at about 6:30. It's now 9 a.m. and you guys making this call. So please call whenever you find the money. Come and give it to me. That's fine, or your family can come and give it to me." So very thankful to that person. So I spent probably another 5-10 minutes, very quickly find out where the ticket was, and the Australian High Commission said it's down at Papua New Guinea office. So after finding out, we started walking back. So going back was a little bit faster because the rain stopped, and then we had to take the shortcut, and it took us probably 3 hours or slightly less. So got back to the village on Wednesday. On Thursday morning, we went down to Wewak. I picked up my ticket, went back to the village, um, said goodbye to my family, and then Friday I flew off to Port Moresby. So I came. The hotel is still here, or you could say the motel, Comfort Inn. I think the name may have changed or still remains the same. Next to that Catholic Bishop's residence at Boroko. So I slept there, and then Friday I went to the Australian High Commission, and I didn't have a visa. I had a passport, but I didn't have a visa. So what they did was they gave me a certificate of expediency. It's not a visa. They told me, you go. The visa will follow you in about a month's time. It will reach you at in Canberra. So I got my certificate of expediency, and then Saturday morning I was off to the airport, caught a taxi. I was scared as hell. That was my first time coming out of Sepik. I always grew up in Sepik, went to Pasam National High School, so I was frightened. And thankfully, one of my former seniors at Pasam National High School, his uncle, was going to University of Canberra as well. I think most of you will know him. He's a very popular person. He was once the Secretary for Finance. His name is Thaddeus Kambane. And we had a chat, and I asked him, where are you going to? And he said, I'm going to University of Canberra. I said, oh, well, I think you're a blessing, in disguise. I'm going to the same place as well. So, yeah, we jumped on the plane, went first stop over in Cairns. He was already there previously doing his first degree at, I think, Queensland University or James Cook University in Townsville. So he was quite familiar with the place. So he got a higher vehicle. We had about maybe 2 hours or maybe 3 hours stopover. 3 hours, I think. So we went to McDonald's, bought McDonald's. After that, came back, caught the plane, and all the way to Canberra. So back to my point, these days we take our phones for granted. We don't. We very much use them for entertainment or for consumption stuff. But the communication, very important communication, not to call people and tell stories, entertainment stuff, or really unnecessary, but very, very important. Like those days, there was no mobile phone, so I had to go to Maprik. I took probably several trips, and then I said, okay, let me try WeWork. Maybe this time I should be able to reach the Australian High Commission in Port Moresby. Again, went down to WeWork. My money ran out. I went back to the village. I was lucky that I had really good relatives. One relative gave me 50 kina. So me and my uncle walked over to that village that was 3 villages away. It took us 4 hours to get there just to make that particular call. Um, we take things for granted. We are now reaching 50 years of independence. I think our country has come a long way. In those days, my father was teaching at Maprik High School as well. And the roads, you don't see them as they are today, the CPIC Highway. You go to town, you'll come back, you'll sleep along the highway, you get to even Maverick town by about 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the mornings. And my father was teaching at Maverick High School, so by the time they go do shopping at WeWork, we know that they'll come back probably about 11 p.m., maybe 12, sometimes early in the mornings, because the road was just as terrible. And at times, it gets very slippery, vehicles bog down, they slip along the way, trying to get vehicles out of very bad road conditions. So I think the country has progressed a lot. Like that example about phones. These days, you only have a mobile phone at your fingertips. You call, you can do a lot of work with a mobile phone. You can go and learn a lot of stuff on YouTube. You can communicate for work or for business, as was for my case. These days, if we had a mobile phone, I wouldn't have to be going to Maprit back and forth, trying to use the public pay phones where you have to put so many coins into the phones. Again, back to WeWork, another time spent going up and down. Luckily, we went finally to that place, 3 villages away, to a satellite phone, and I was able to call the Australian High Commission. So, guys, we are reaching the 50th anniversary this September. Our country has come a long way. It's not all negative this, negative that, negative everything. Now, I think we must also be grateful for the few things that have happened to our country. It's not a roller coaster. It's not as going for a stroll in the park. But a lot of things has dug our country out of a very severe poverty um, back in the 1990s and going back in the 1980s and prior. We have come some way, not to a very desired destination where there's a lot of good things like what most of the developed world may have, but we have come some way. Most roads, most parts of the country, roads have been built in. Probably still not in good conditions, but at least there is road access. And for me, one very significant thing is about mobile phones and telephones. Very important for our country, for business, for education, and for communication, and likewise for consumption and entertainment. So, folks, good night to you all. Thank you for hearing my story. Um, until next time, thank you.